it up to the start of our first couple of months as nomads.
We stayed here on our friend's property for a couple of weeks to adjust to living full-time in the teardrop.
After much anticipation, we threw a 90s radio station on Spotify and drove across the country to Sedona, Arizona, where I was supposed to have a video job lined up. We drove in overcast, rainy conditions from Kentucky to Oklahoma City.
The left lane to take the I-44 west exit toward Joplin. Continue on I-44 west for 100 miles. Welcome to Oklahoma. In 2 miles, use any lane to take the Oklahoma 66 west, I-44 west exit towards Sapulpa, Oklahoma City.
It's strange.
Yeah, I know. It's like, did they stop construction?
Continue on I-44 for 87 miles. To continue on I-35 south, follow signs for Oklahoma City, Dallas.
Then we slept in a truck stop parking lot because it was convenient and free.
Welcome to Checkpoint.
Texas had more rainy, overcast conditions, but we finally hit sunny weather somewhere in New Mexico. We stopped near Alamogordo to stretch our legs and see the world's largest pistachio. How fun. It was well after dark by the time we arrived at our first wild camp near Deming, New Mexico. Based on the trail to get there, we had a feeling the views would be awesome in the daylight. And they were. Up to this point, we had been traveling during the weekend and cramming in as many miles as we could in a day. So now that it was a Monday, we stayed put and Brian worked. After he finished work, we climbed the hill at our camp to take in the views. We wanted to stay longer and explore more, but we were still trying to make our way towards Sedona and only had a few more hours left in the day. So we told ourselves we'll just have to come back to this spot sometime later. Off we went towards our next wild camp near Marana, Arizona. But just in case you have the idea that things had been all puppies and rainbows, I had been trying to get in touch with the lady that I was due to be working with in Sedona. She hadn't responded to any of my messages for a few days, but I didn't think anything of it because it had been the weekend. So I kept reaching out and waiting for a response. And also, the lady who was fostering our cat contacted us the day after we left Kentucky to let us know that things weren't really working out and we needed to find a new foster. She was very nice about the whole thing, but I was freaking out because we were already across the country. So for a few days, we had been trying to find a new foster with no luck. We pulled into our first Arizona camp in the dark again. Similar to our previous site, the trail to this campsite gave us little hints and promises for good views. This was the first time I had seen a saguaro in person, and even in the dark, I could tell they were going to be beautiful. The site was easy to get to and easy to level out the trailer. What more could we want? We woke up on Halloween surrounded by saguaros and tons of desert diversity. We spent time meandering close to the site and looking at all the different shapes. They grow in so many directions, not just the typical cowboy hat shape. I was surprised that the base of the trunk looks like tree bark instead of the fleshy green part. Look how happy he was for this to be his office for the day. We both loved this site, and we were a little tired from driving roughly 1,700 miles over the last 4 days. So we decided to stay another night instead of pushing harder to Sedona. Did you know that jumping cholla cactuses can sense electric static from your body? You don't even have to touch it. You can be stung just from getting close to it. How wild is that? We don't have that in Kentucky. Everything in the Sonoran Desert is fully prepared to defend itself with various types of prickly things. Tank definitely had a difficult time walking anywhere at this site without getting all of the prickly things in his paws. The Arizona desert was not friendly to him. Not here, and definitely not later when we were in Sedona. One of the reasons we were in this area at this particular time was because I was due to work at a women's retreat in Sedona starting on November 12th. I wanted to come out to the area early so I could adjust to the higher elevations while carrying and using heavy camera gear. I continued to practice as if I was still working the retreat, but I was getting nervous about her not responding to any of my various means of communication. My gut was telling me to hold on, that I wasn't really being ghosted, and maybe she was just busy with other things. We continued to wait and hoped that nothing bad had happened to her. And we still had not been successful in finding a new foster for our cat back in Kentucky. I was worried about the cat being stressed out and feeling guilty for putting her through this. She didn't ask for this change in our lifestyle. Brian finished work, we left our little slice of heaven near Tucson, and thanks to Phoenix rush hour, we drove the final 4 hours to Sedona. We had coordinates from a trusted source for an epic dispersed campsite, and we were naively looking forward to finally being in one spot for longer than a night or two. Our relatively easy travels were making us take our luck for granted, and it caught up to us at this point. We didn't do enough research to see that this site would be at 6,400 feet. At 9 p.m., it was already 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Freezing temps overnight can damage our water heater, so we decided it was best to continue down the road and drop into Sedona where it's warmer. We thought we would be at the bottom of the hill in no time. Just wanted to give you guys a little update. It is currently 1:17 in the morning, if you can even see that. We have been on this trail for 4 hours. It took us 4.5 hours to travel 6 miles because it turns out that's a very rough road. One obstacle in particular made me nervous the trailer was going to roll if we didn't figure out a way to get around it. Later, we learned that this trail is a Jeep Badge of Honor trail, if that tells you anything. Schnebly Hill Road, you have taught us a lot about our rig and about how capable that trailer is, but we've been on this road for over 4 hours now, so I would like to be done with this road. And we did it in the middle of the night in a stock Tacoma while pulling a teardrop trailer after working a full day and commuting 4 hours from Marana. We definitely came out a stronger team. My job during this adventure has been to literally walk the trail and give Brian the best driving line that he can try and follow. So I've been walking this trail for most of the way. It's been about, 5 miles now? I think we still have another mile to go. Yeah, this is rough. Something that we learned from Expedition Overland and Lifestyle Overland is that when you are in doubt, you need to walk the trail. And we have been in doubt most of this trail. He says I'm a trooper for walking the whole way, but I say he's a trooper for driving the truck and trailer out with no substantial damage. He kept me level-headed when things got squirrely. It's been pretty rough, but we've learned a lot. I barely remembered to capture any content because that felt like a very low priority in the moment. So it's 1:30 in the morning by the time we made it to the bottom of the trail, and we were absolutely exhausted. So we decided it was time for our first overnight stay in Walmart. The closest one was 30 minutes away in Cottonwood, so about 2 in the morning, we pulled into the parking lot, and I'm pretty sure we didn't even brush our teeth or anything. We just jumped straight in the trailer and tried to go to sleep.
I had to be up in 3.5 hours to get ready for another full day of work. About 5 minutes after we laid down, the street sweepers started clearing the Walmart parking lot. I got 0 sleep.
So at 6 o'clock, I walk across the parking lot to Carl's Jr. to get coffee for my poor husband. And on the way back, a security officer stops me to ask if we had stayed overnight because it turns out that Walmart doesn't allow overnight parking. He said they had signs posted and everything. I could not control my laughter, and I told him we had a terrible experience on Schnebly Hill, that we had pulled in at 2 o'clock in the morning. We didn't see the signs, and please don't be mad at us, Mr. Nice Security Man. Now, he was a local, so he understood how bad that trail was, and luckily he gave us some hints and some tips for some local dispersed sites. He gave Tank a pat on the head and sent us on our merry little way. Brian connected to a phone hotspot so he could work while I drove, and off we went to find one of the spots that Mr. Nice Security Man recommended. We found a flat spot off the road in the Coconino National Forest. It had characteristics of a developed campsite, a fire ring, and a circular driveway. I point that out on purpose. More on that later. We staked our ground, gratefully took a nice deep breath, and ended up staying there for 4 nights. We worked and did chores during the day, relaxed when possible, tried to reach out to the lady I was supposed to work with, tried to find a new foster for the cat. We checked in with family, we enjoyed the views, and we scouted other campsites. On day 7, we found a new foster for our cat. The cat's name is Kobe, by the way. Our kiddo and her fiance picked up Kobe and kept her overnight. Then my mom drove 6 hours round trip to bring her back to my hometown, where my best friend's family welcomed Kobe with open arms. We are incredibly grateful for all of them helping us with this while we were across the country. I literally cried happy tears as I felt the relief flood my body. And then I also heard back from the lady I was supposed to work with. She told me she had been in Japan taking care of family things. We chatted a little more, and she said she'd check back in when she's back in the States. With a clearer head and renewed excitement for what we were doing, the 3 of us leisurely strode around Sedona with no agenda. Perfect weather, tasty food, gorgeous landscapes everywhere you look, shop-lined streets with opportunities for people watching, and I ate my feelings in the form of chocolate ice cream. We only walked around for a few hours and then headed back to our camp near Cottonwood. There's much more to see and do in Sedona, but we kept this visit very relaxed. We scouted other dispersed campsites on the way back and pinned coordinates for the ones we liked. I wanted to have an option closer to Sedona in case I needed to be closer to locations for the retreat. But at this point, I still had not received the final itinerary details. These things aren't usually nailed down until closer to the retreat because of potential weather changes and other unexpected hurdles. So instead of pouring more energy into this uncertain retreat situation, we made plans to finish the weekend with a good hike. Part 2 of this series takes you on a hike with us to Cathedral Rock, where we apparently tried to break the dog. See you next time.